Mhm. You know, there's what's known as how the people make a living. Yes. Mhm. And this morning I was thinking about how am I going to make a living? See, a lot of those in law enforcement, they thought, well, Paul doesn't need to make a living. Yeah. He doesn't need to support himself. He needs to be dependent upon rental assistance for the $400 a month to be able to rent a room. Yeah. While at the same time knowing that they're defrauding the United States of, well, really the sheriff's department. When you think about different departments of cities and counties. Yeah. And then they're defrauding the United States of a police department when you think about the police department in Port Angeles, Swindon, Port Townsend. Yeah. Now, a lot of these in law enforcement, they thought about how to make a living. Yeah. hmm And it seemed to them that it was okay to receive federal and state funding without the actual enforcement of the laws. It's kind of like we are going to spend the taxation of the population, yes, supporting the individuals that are making a living, yes, while at the same time knowing that they're not enforcing the laws. Now, let's say I went through all the federal grants that are given to every police department in every city. Yes. All of those police officers feel like they have this right to employment. Yes. While at the same time knowing of defrauding the United States of the enforcement of the laws. Now, it's kind of a good deal for those that are making a living. Yes. That the federal government passes all these laws where they grant all this money. Yes. And then I email them, Seattle Police Department. Well, we're using forgeries. Yes, that happens to be a crime. Right. And then we're issuing court orders where there is no enforcement of the actual Foreign Court Order Act. And we are fabricating evidence against innocent Americans. And then what we're doing is we're kidnapping children and we're abusing our authority as law enforcement. Now, for a lot of those in law enforcement in cities and the county sheriffs throughout the United States that thought, well, we have to get that federal funding because we need to buy whatever the equipment is or the individuals that need to be supported so they can make a living. I'm kind of thinking that you've lost your federal funding for every police and sheriff's department in the United States. Now, you thought you had a right to that. Yes. Isn't that right, King County sheriffs? Yes. You thought that since it, well, right now, well, you don't. hmm See, as soon as I had proved that you're defrauding the United States because sheriffs had conspired together, yes, to defraud the United States of the enforcement of the laws. It's kind of like Sheriff Bill Benedict emails, well, Paul is a homeless, mentally ill man. Yes. While at the same time knowing I wasn't in Sequim, Washington. Yes. Knowing I wasn't in Jefferson County. Yeah. Refusing to exonerate me. I'm going to have to take all the federal funding of every sheriff's department in the United States that has an knowledge right now. As soon as it's proven that you defrauded the United States of the enforcement of the laws, you no longer qualify for federal funding. Oh. Now, when we look at the actual budgets, yes, of the individual sheriff's departments, that would be inclusive of every county of the state of Washington. I'm going to sue the federal government to have removed all federal funding because this state and every fucking sheriff has conspired to deprive Americans of the enforcement of the laws. Do you understand, Sheriff? Now, as much as you thought you had a right to make a living, you obviously did feel that you could defraud the United States. So sorry, sheriffs. But I'm going to sue the United States federal government for funding any federal monies right now. Now, you idiots that have the